Hello students, welcome to Smart Engineering Tutorials. So after a long time, I'm back with my videos on the VLSI series, and I posted my last lecture number 14 on MOS inverters. There I discussed about the static characteristics for an ideal as well as an NMOS realistic inverter. So I'll be moving ahead and I'll discuss today noise immunity and noise margins. So it's better for you to go through that lecture number 14 so that you'll be able to understand and connect with this lecture very well. So I'll just give a very brief about the lecture number 14 because I have to continue with that only. So we talked about MOS inverters, and basically if I say what are inverters, inverters, as the name says, inverters, they'll invert whatever you'll give. Means if you give here 0, it will become 1. If you give 1, it will become 0. This is all what this inverters do. And when we say MOS inverters, it basically means they are very high in speed, they're very efficient, very reliable, and so on. So here, this is the truth table. We all know about this, and we saw the VTC graph of the ideal inverter. There was a very sharp transition from high to low. Okay, this is the main thing about the ideal, is that it doesn't take time to switch. But nothing in this world is ideal. For that reason, we studied about this realistic NMOS inverter characteristics. And here we saw the input axis, we saw the output axis, and this graph. Here we saw that there are 5 different important critical voltage points: VIL, VTH, VIH on the input axis, and VOL and VOH on the output axis. So it will be very good if you all just go through what these important critical voltages are in lecture number 14. One thing I'll just tell you, that from 0 to VIL, this input voltage range is treated as low logic, and from VIH to VOH, but this can extend up to VDD because the maximum input which the voltage can reach is VDD. So from VIH to the maximum possible is termed as logic 1 for the input signal. From 0 to VOL is called the output low signal, means logic 0 it will be given, and from VOH to VDD, that is maximum possible output, it is termed as logic 1 or high output. So these are the important critical voltages, and you can understand the VIL is the maximum input which is treated as 0. VIH is the minimum input which is treated as logic 1. Similarly, VOL is the maximum output which is treated as logic 0, and VOH is the minimum output which is treated as logic 1. So this is what I will just tell you here, and this is the transition region where the inverter output transits from high to low. In ideal, it was a sharp curve, but here it does takes time. It gradually reduces to the next value. So this is important, and VTH is the point at which the input and output voltages are equal. This is the threshold point. So now moving ahead to the today's lecture is that now we have seen that the beauty of the MOS circuits is that they don't react or they don't produce a single voltage value. Means they are not going to detect a single voltage, and neither they are going to produce a single voltage. They produce a range, they detect a range, means they'll treat this particular range as logic 0 or logic 1 at the input as well as the output. So it means that when you give some range to anything, it means you are providing some kind of tolerance. Okay, it means that if the signal lies in that particular range, it will be treated within that range as logic 0 or 1. It means you are increasing the detection capability of that particular circuit. And this is very good when there is some sort of noise in the circuit. And there are instances when there are many types of noise: external noise, internal noise, if you have studied the chapter noise. So there are many kinds of noise which disturb the output of a circuit. So this ability of an inverter to interpret an input signal, okay, a range of input signal, as either logic 0 or logic 1. It provides or it allows a tolerance to the digital circuit to external signal fluctuations. So if there are external signal fluctuations and if they change the input signal which is being given or which is being fed to the input circuit, in that case, if that input signal has changed within that range, then it will not affect the output. It will even then give a correct output. It means that this tolerance is useful when there is presence of circuit noise as well as some external noise which can corrupt the incoming signals. So this is very important, that the tolerance provides it a very flexibility to work in a noisy environment. Okay. Now, when we talk about circuit noise, what is circuit noise? Since you have studied that it is VLSI, so there are so many very large scale integration. Means integration is very densely packed. Means there are so many devices, transistors, gates, and so on. Everything is packed, fully packed on a single chip. And when you say on a single chip, means there are interconnecting lines. They are running so close to each other and they all carry signals. So if you're talking about one particular line, it can couple or it can catch the signal which is moving on its neighboring line, and this signal which it catches from the neighboring line, it acts as a noise for that particular line because it is not needed. Okay, this type of signal which is caught by it can be either by capacitive coupling or by inductive coupling, and this causes noise to be generated, and that input which is being fed to the device or the gate or the transistor, it just changes. And this noise can also be from external system also. Okay, so this is what we are talking about, and this will be explained very well through this example. So circuit noise, you all know it is unwanted signal which can be coupled to some part of circuit by capacitive inductive coupling from outside the system, and this which is the signal which is being coupled, it is basically from interconnection lines, and these interconnection lines are made up of either metal or polysilicon which connects the output of one to the input of the other and so on. Okay, so this noise which creates interference to the signal, it changes its value. This interference changes the signal level at one end of the interconnection line to the other end. Now what does the interconnection line do? It is basically used for making connections from one device to the other. So they carry signal from one end to the other end, and if in between the signal receives some noise, then that signal will change while it is moving from one end to the other on that particular interconnection line. So now we are going to see these terms, noise immunity and noise margin. Okay, if you first instance, if you see noise margin and noise immunity, what do you understand by this? It means the digital circuit's immunity towards noise, if it has margin towards noise, means, see, if your body is having a high immunity, what it does mean? It means that the bacteria and germs will not be able to affect you, and your body efficiency or the body output will not be affected. Similarly is the case with the circuits. If they are highly immune to this noise, means their noise immunity is very high, it means that even if the noise is present, even in that environment, they'll give the correct output. Similarly, noise margin means that till how much margin of the noise can be tolerated by the circuit. I'll explain it with your example of your clothes. See, if you get stitched, if you go to the tailor to stitch clothes, and you tell him, "Bhaiya, thoda sa margin," you just keep some margin. In that case, this margin will it will do? It will provide you a safer zone. If you gain weight, even then you'll be able to fit in those clothes without affecting the output or efficiency of those clothes. So this is the thing, that even if this circuit receives noise, but if it has high noise immunity and high noise margin, even then it will produce a correct output. Okay, now we'll see this. Here I have taken 3 cascaded inverters, and they all are identical because we'll take the same only, then we can do some study. And here see, when you talk about chips, there are so many devices, and it is a necessity that the output from one device is being fed to the other. Without doing this, you cannot integrate the whole chip. So here what we have done, we have taken the output of first inverter and fed it to the input of the second inverter by means of an interconnection line. And these interconnection lines, I just told you, they are prone to noise. Either it is circuit noise or from the external environment. Okay, now the output from the second inverter is being fed to the input of the third inverter, and these are also interconnected. Output from second is given to third input by means of this interconnect, and it is also prone to this noise. Okay, now I'll move in detail. I'll tell you what all this is, but before that, let's just understand these terms, and I'll do it very quickly. So I just told you that what these interconnects are made up of. They can be of metal or polysilicon line, and they connect the two gates. Gates can of any. Gates means basically the devices which are fabricated on the chip. And so on chip interconnects are generally prone to signal noise. We just talked the noise tolerance is for digital circuits. This noise tolerance is called noise margin. Means how much noise they can tolerate. It is called noise margin. Simple. And if the noise margin is more, it means that noise immunity of that circuit is also more. So noise immunity of the circuit increases with noise margin. Now we have two kinds of noise margins. We have noise margin for low level signals or low signal levels, and also for high signal levels. Now we'll just discuss that what these values are, because they have some particular value. Okay, now see here, we have seen in my lecture number 14 in detail the VTC curve of the realistic NMOS inverter, and here I'm drawing the input axis, or you can say the input values and the output values simultaneously in front of each other, so that you can get a very good understanding of this. See, if I see the input axis, the input signal which is treated low, means logic 0 input signal is from 0 to VIL. So this is logic 0 input signal. Okay, and from VIS to VDD, if I mark this line, this the lowest, this is 0, and the maximum is VDD. Okay, this will be better if you see like this. So from 0 to VIL is treated as logic 0 input, and from VIS to VDD it is treated as logic 1 input. Similarly, if I see on the output line, from 0 to VOL is treated as logic 0 output, and from VOH to VDD it is treated as logic 1. Now we are going to see the difference or the margin, because it's ultimately the output of one being as the input of the second. So we have to see that what range of low input signal can be tolerated. This, if you see both input and output, see maximum value of low signal which can be treated. So if I see VIL is the maximum value of the input which can be treated as logic 0, and on the output side VOL is the maximum value which can be treated as logic 0. So the difference between these two, that is VIL minus VOL, this provides a margin. Means any signal, if it changes and remains in this region, even then it will be treated as logic 0. So this provides a noise margin to the logic 0 signal. Means VIL minus VOL gives you the noise margin for low signal. Similarly for high signal, see from VIS to VDD is logic 1 on input, and from VOH to VDD is logic 1 for output. So now if you see the difference, VIH and VOH is at a higher level. So the difference between these two values, it gives you the noise margin for logic 1 signal or high signal levels. So, and these all regions are the valid input and output signal levels. Okay. So now I think this is very clear. And now moving further, see. So what does this noise margin mean? The noise margin show the amount of variation in the signal levels that can be allowed when the signal is transmitted from output of one gate to input of other gate. It means that because of this noise margin, because of this tolerance, if the output while moving from the from one gate to the other, if it changes due to noise, even then the signal will be detected correctly by the circuit, and it will give the correct output. So this is what we are going to understand with the help of those three cascaded inverter example. Okay, now let's focus here. See here, you have these three cascaded inverters. So we are going to assume let the input to the first inverter is VOH. Okay, so if I talk about VOH, you can also take any low signal. It's up to you. I'm taking this. So if I take a low, if I take VOH as the input, the correct output for this will be a logic low signal because it is an inverter. So VOH will give VOL at the output. Now this VOL is being fed to the input of the second inverter by means of this interconnect, and here is the noise. So now what will this noise do? This noise can either decrease or increase the value of this VOL. This is obvious, only two things it can do. Either it will add or it will be subtracted. So this VOL can increase or it can decrease. If it decreases below VOL, then we have no problem, because if VOL is a low logic, means logic 0, if its voltage level decreases below this VOL, even then it will be a low signal. Okay, and it will be treated as logic 0 and there will be no problem with its decrease. But if this VOL increases due to noise, so this logic 0 signal is increasing in voltage. Now we have to see that this voltage reaches to which place. So this increase, if it increases and reaches VIL. VIL is the maximum input voltage which is treated as logic 0. Means this VOL has the own, it is, means if we say that how much value can this increase to, how much is allowed, so that we get the correct output. So this, if it increases, it can reach till VIL. This is the maximum allowable input signal which is treated as logic 0. So VOL can increase, but with a limit or with a capping to VIL. It cannot increase beyond this, and if, I'm saying cannot because we need a correct output. Okay, but due to reasons this increases beyond VIL. Now it will not be treated as logic 0, but it will be treated as high logic. It will be treated as 1 and it will give a wrong output. But we are talking in terms that we get a correct output. So for correct output, this VOL is allowed to increase till VIL. And that's why it is written maximum allowable voltage at the input of second inverter. Now here it has moved till VIL. So VOL increases VIL, but it is even then logic 0. It will get a logic high at the output of second inverter. Now this VOH is further given as input to the third inverter by means of this interconnect. And this VOH is also being disturbed by this noise and corrected by this noise. So this VOH can increase as well as decrease. Now this is a high signal. If it increases, then no problem, because high signal will also be treated as logic 1. There's no problem with this increase. But if it decreases, this high signal can become low if it decreases very to a very low quantity or to a very low voltage level. So how much value this VOH can reduce to, which is allowed, so that we get a correct output. So this VOH can decrease, and if it decreases, it can the minimum allowable voltage which is allowed this to this VOH to decrease is VIH, because VIH is the minimum input signal which is treated as logic 1. So if VOH decreases to VIH, it will even then be treated as logic 1 and it will give a correct output as low logic. So we will get VOL. So we discussed that when we will get it, in what conditions we will get correct output. For getting a wrong output, there are so many reasons. It can increase to this VOH, like we have talked about VOH. If it will decrease further below VIH, it will become a low signal, and here it will give a high signal, which will be a wrong output. So I just explained how this noise margin gives us a margin in which we can work in a noisy environment. That even though the noise is coming, even though the values are increasing or decreasing, we have these cappings which help us to give a correct output even in the presence of noise, and that's why these are called as reliable circuits and which can work efficiently even in noisy environments. Okay, now moving further, the output of an inverter, we call it as V out, in presence of no noise, means it is a noise free environment. In that case, it will produce a steady state. It is getting a steady state condition, and it will produce an output which is a linear function of the input voltage Vin, and that output is described or written as V out is equals to function of Vin, which is a linear function of this value. Okay, now moving further, if we'll talk about that, if this input signal is affected by some noise, means some noise is present in the circuit, in that case the input will also be affected, and similarly if the input is affected, then the output will also be affected. Now let's say there is some delta V noise present in the system. Okay, now we are going to see the effect of this noise on the output. Let's say the input becomes Vn plus delta V noise. Now since the input is corrupted, the output will also be corrupted, and we have given it the name as V out dash, and it is equals to function of this corrupted input. So to find out the output in this case in the presence of noise, we are going to use first order Taylor series expansion, and here we are going to neglect the higher order terms, and so we will just see the first two. So in Taylor series we have first order Taylor series, we have fx plus h. If we want to use this series, it is fx plus first derivative f dash x into h upon factorial 1, and we are neglecting the higher order terms. So here in our case, x is Vin and h is delta V noise. So f Vn plus delta V noise, how we'll write this? Fx, and fx is f of Vn and it is V out. And if I say, what do you write? F dash x, it is actually, if fx is equals to y, then it becomes dy by dx. Similarly here, if f dash Vn is to be calculated, it is d by dvn of y, that is, here we have got the output as V out. So this is the value. So here I'll write the first value. Fx is Fvin, that is f of Vn, plus f dash x, that is d by dvin of V out, into h. H here is delta V noise, and factorial 1 is 1. So we got these two terms. If you see the first term here, this first term is actually the nominal output where there is no noise, means it is non-perturbed output. Perturbed means corrupted. Okay, and if I say what we got, this d upon dvin into V out, this is what? This is output upon input, and it gives gain. Okay, nominal gain. So the second term, we get this nominal voltage gain into delta V noise. This is external disturbance or the corruptions, perturbations, and we are neglecting the higher order terms. So we can write this equation in terms that how the input noise affects the output. So the perturbed output is equal to nominal output plus this gain into external noise. So now see, the main focus is here upon this gain. Okay, I'll just read it out and then explain to you. Like, if voltage gain at nominal input voltage Vn, if the gain is less than unity, then the input perturbations are not amplified and output perturbations remains small. What does this mean? Means if this gain is less than unity, then this whole quantity will be very less, and so the external noise will not be able to amplify the noise and significantly affect the output. There will be small variations in the output, not much. So if gain is less, it will affect less to the output. Okay, but on the other hand, if this gain is greater than unity, what will happen? A small noise will also be amplified to a larger extent, and this will affect the output in larger terms. Okay, it will create a large change in the output. So moving ahead, so the voltage range. Now we talked about the VTC graph. There we saw that we had a very transition level. See, I just got it. See here, we saw this, and here we saw that the distance or the this graph between VIL and VIH, here the transition takes place. So here in this range, the input is not detected correctly by the circuit. It can be detected as logic 0 or logic 1. That is the reason we call this as the uncertain region, or it is transition region because it takes transition, but the main thing we call it as uncertain region because it is uncertain for the circuit to consider the input coming as logic 0 or logic 1 within this range. Okay, so now what is the main thing while designing this inverters? I'm going to talk about that. So voltage range between VIL and VIH are the input values that may not be processed correctly, and so this region is called the uncertain region or the transition region. So now if you see here, this slope, if it becomes, if you remember about the ideal when it is a straight line. Okay, so the main criteria is the higher the slope of this region. Okay, the higher the slope means it will become more steep. In that case, this region, uncertain region, will decrease, it will shrink, and in that case this 0 to VIL, this range will also increase, and this VIH also will shift backwards, and so this margin or this range will also increase. So what we want to say that if we the slope increases, if the slope of this VTC becomes large between VIL and VIH, then the region becomes narrow. Okay, it becomes a narrow region, and then it becomes, or it has a larger noise margin because this VIL is going to shift backwards this side and VIH is going to come backwards. In that case, this region will shrink and we'll get a more range for 0 to VIL and VIH to VOH. So it will provide larger noise margin. So the most important design objective is to reduce the width of this uncertain region. Okay, so we have just seen now the 5 critical voltage points which fully determine the DC input output behavior of this MOS inverter. These are the 5 voltages we have already seen, and with that, what is more important, noise margins, transition region width, and its location. So this was all about noise immunity and noise margin about the MOS inverters, and I'll be back with my new video in coming days. So till then, if you like my video, do subscribe to my channel and share with your friends. So thank you, and I'll be uploading very soon.